A Bluetooth headset helped Kolkata police crack a murder case. Sanjay Roy was accused of raping and murdering a 31-year-old on-duty doctor in Kolkata.
On August 9, 2024, in Kolkata, India, gut-wrenching screams were heard from R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital. A day later, thousands of screams were heard from the streets. A horrific crime shook the nation, and many people were tired of hearing the same heartbreaking headline over and over again. Dr. D, a 31-year-old junior trainee doctor at the hospital, was unalived in such a brutal manner we can't even describe here, and it happened after a grueling 36-hour shift. She was working so hard to help her family, and this is how she was repaid. This tragedy has ignited widespread protests, exposed deep-rooted systemic issues, and reignited discussions about women's safety in India. How long will the government continue to fail those who need protection? How long will they protect the predators? Dr. D, a dedicated second-year postgraduate trainee, was nearing the end of a grueling 36-hour shift when she decided to take a brief rest in one of the hospital's seminar halls. What should have been a moment of respite turned into a nightmare. Her mom recalled the last thing Dr. D told her before leaving for work. "Please make sure Dad takes his medicines on time. Don't worry about me." The next morning, her parents kept ringing her phone to no avail. Their daughter was not the type to not answer her phone. They grew more worried by the minute. The same morning, D's colleagues discovered her lifeless body, bearing signs of a brutal assault, slumped over the seminar chairs, clothes half off.
A semi-naked body was discovered with multiple injuries lying on a mattress stained with blood.
The injuries inflicted on Dr. D were horrific, and that's an understatement. According to reports, there was not a single inch of her body spared from harm. She had suffered severe head trauma, with blood emanating from her eyes and mouth. Her body was covered in bruises, bite marks, and deep scratch marks. The autopsy revealed that she had been strangled and smothered, with her thyroid cartilage broken from the force applied to her neck. It looked more like a pack of rabid dogs had attacked her than a person. D's father said, "At the age of 62, all my dreams have been shattered." He also explained how hard D had been working at the hospital to become a licensed doctor and to help her family through financial trouble. "We come from a lower middle-class background and built everything on our own. When she was little, we struggled financially. But she could never bring herself to ask for anything for herself. People would say, 'You can't make your daughter a doctor.' But my daughter proved everyone wrong and got admission in a government-run medical college. She wrote that she wanted to win a gold medal for her medical degree. She wanted to lead a good life and take care of us too." Dee's family was devastated beyond words, but they were also furious. You see, the initial response to Dr. D's death was troubling and raised immediate suspicions of a cover-up. Hospital administrators initially told her parents that their daughter had self-exited, a claim that was patently absurd given the nature of her injuries. This attempt to mislead the family only served to deepen suspicions about potential complicity or attempts to protect the perpetrators. As public outrage grew, the police were forced to launch an investigation. They initially arrested a man named Sanjay Roy, a civic volunteer who worked at the hospital. Roy's Bluetooth earbud was allegedly found at the crime scene, and he was seen entering and leaving the hospital around the time of the murder.
A Bluetooth headset helped Kolkata police crack a murder case. Sanjay Roy was accused of raping and murdering a 31-year-old on-duty doctor in Kolkata.
There is no reason for him to be present at such an order.
Hundreds of doctors took to the streets demanding justice for the 31-year-old victim.
Roy had a history of DV, which prompted 3 of his 4 ex-wives, yes, 4, to leave him.
According to reports, he had been married 4 times and 3 of his wives left him due to his misconduct while his 4th wife died of cancer. The police revealed that he had free access to several departments of the hospital.
Disturbingly, he also wore a Kolkata police t-shirt as he volunteered for the hospital as part of a police program.
He has started case under section 1031 and 64 BNS. Okay? So this is case of homicide as well as assault.
However, many aspects of the case suggested that Roy could not have acted alone. The extent of Dr. D's injuries, the amount of biological evidence found, and the time frame of the attack all pointed to the involvement of multiple assailants. Despite this, the police seemed reluctant to pursue other suspects or acknowledge the likelihood of a larger conspiracy.
डॉक्टर 36 घंटे खड़े होकर पेशेंट्स की सेवा करते हैं, उनके साथ ऐसा हादसा हुआ है तो ये पूरे देश के लिए शर्मनाक बात है.
The murder of Dr. D sparked immediate and widespread protests, particularly among the medical community.
नाइट ड्यूटीज कोई अनकॉमन चीज नहीं है. एट अ स्ट्रेच 36 आवर्स की ड्यूटी कोई डॉक्टर करके 5 मिनट की रेस्ट लेने जा रहे हैं और उसके साथ कुछ ऐसा इंसिडेंस हो रहा है. इट्स हॉरेंडस. It has to be condemned.
Doctors, nurses, and medical students across India took to the streets to demand justice for their fallen colleague and to call for better security measures in hospitals.
It's a girl who has been raped and murdered in her own safe space, which is not okay.
Thousands participated in candlelight vigils and marches, carrying signs with slogans such as "No safety, no duty," and "Doctors save lives, let's save theirs." The protests highlighted the vulnerability of healthcare workers, especially women, who often work long hours in challenging conditions without adequate protection. The case quickly gained national attention, with people from all walks of life expressing their shock and anger. Social media platforms were flooded with posts demanding justice for Dr. D and calling for systemic changes to address violence against women.
Many protesting doctors held a candle march, chanted slogans, and even boycotted duty.
The timing of the protests, occurring on the eve of India's Independence Day, added a poignant layer to the demonstrations. Many protesters pointed out the bitter irony of celebrating national independence, while women in the country still lacked basic safety and freedom from violence.
The junior doctors at R.G. Kar Medical College in Kolkata also demanded a judicial investigation, a written apology from the hospital authorities, and compensation for the women's family. Amid the ongoing protest, the principal of the hospital, Dr. Sandeep Ghosh, resigned from his post on 11th August 2024.
Unfortunately, the peaceful protests took a violent turn when a mob of 1,000 to 2,000 people stormed the R.G. Kar Medical College and Hospital. They vandalized the premises, destroying furniture, breaking windows, and ransacking various departments, including the emergency ward. This act of destruction, while stemming from anger over the crime and perceived injustice, ultimately harmed the very institution where Dr. D had worked to save lives. The violent outburst raised questions about who organized the mob and what their true motives were. Some speculated that it was an attempt to destroy evidence, while others saw it as a politically motivated act to discredit the protests or the current government.
हैवानियत की गई उस बेचारी डॉक्टर के साथ ममता जी क्या कर रही हैं आप?
West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee called the incident unfortunate and supported the protesters demanding justice for the victim.
The murder of Dr. D is not an isolated incident, but part of a larger pattern of violence against women in India. Despite legal reforms and increased awareness, the country continues to grapple with huge rates of gender-based violence. According to the National Crime Records Bureau of India, there were 371,503 cases of crime against women reported in 2020. However, after COVID, it only got worse. The most common crimes against women include, and to the shock and dismay of many, marital SA is still not a crime in India. It's almost like a woman is seen as her husband's possession. He can love, hate, or kill her. The law doesn't care once she's quote-unquote his. If that's not disgusting enough, here's where it gets worse. These stats gravely underrepresent the true scale of the problem, as many cases go unreported due to social stigma, fear of retaliation, or lack of faith in the justice system. Imagine being abused but unable to report your perpetrator as you're afraid of what he would do if he found out. One woman stated, "My husband used to force himself on me regularly." One woman, who asked not to be named, says, "I know it's wrong and I feel violated, but society has socialized me to feel that I have to go along with what he, the provider, wants. I can't even talk about it because it is embarrassing." Yeah, that's the tragic situation many women are in. Dr. D's case also shows the extra vulnerability of women in the workplace, even in professional settings like hospitals. A study showed that 75% of doctors in India have faced some form of violence at work, with female doctors often facing additional risks related to their gender. Women make up nearly 30% of India's doctors and 80% of the nursing staff, yet many healthcare facilities lack basic safety measures such as secure rest areas, separate toilets for female staff, or adequate inadequate security personnel. The persistence of violence against women in India is rooted in deep-seated cultural and systemic issues. Patriarchal social structures continue to reinforce gender inequality, creating an environment where women are often seen as subordinate to men. This is compounded by inadequate law enforcement and slow judicial processes, which fail to provide swift justice and deter potential offenders. The lack of sex education and awareness programs leaves many in society ill-equipped to understand and respect gender equality and consent. Economic disparities often leave women financially dependent on male family members, limiting their autonomy and ability to escape abusive situations. Furthermore, political systems frequently fail to prioritize women's safety and rights, neglecting to allocate sufficient resources or implement effective policies to address gender-based violence. Addressing violence against women in India requires a fundamental shift in societal attitudes and beliefs. First, there is a critical need for sex education in schools that covers consent, healthy relationships, and gender equality. Add nationwide awareness campaigns to challenge gender stereotypes and promote respect for women. It's equally important to engage men and boys in programs that promote positive masculinity and challenge misogynistic attitudes, as they play a crucial role in changing societal norms. We need strong laws that punish people who hurt women, and we need to train police officers, judges, and doctors to help women who have been hurt. At work, we need rules that make sure women are treated fairly and feel safe. It's also important that women have good jobs and earn enough money to take care of themselves. This means giving women chances to learn new skills, get good jobs, and even start their own businesses. TV shows, movies, and ads play a big part in how we think about women. We need to make sure they show women in a positive way, not just as pretty faces or helpers. We should see more stories about amazing things women do and push back when we see unfair stereotypes. Remember, creating a safer world for women is something we all need to work on, no matter where we live. Every one of us can help by treating everyone with respect and speaking up when we see unfairness. Together, we can make a big difference. In hospitals, we need cameras to watch over everyone and special safe places for women to rest. We should make sure all the people who work there are good and trustworthy. More security guards can help too, especially at night. At work, we need rules that say it's not okay to be mean or scary to women. Everyone should learn how to be nice and respectful. If someone is being mean, there should be a safe way to tell someone about it. We also need to make sure women can get home safely after work. Our courts and judges are important too. They should deal with cases where women are hurt quickly and carefully. There should be special courts just for these cases. We need to help women who have been hurt by giving them people to talk to, lawyers to help them, and ways to keep them safe. The tragic case of Dr. D serves as a stark reminder of the ongoing crisis of violence against women in India. It exposes not only the brutal reality faced by many women, but also the systemic failures that allow such violence to persist. From attempted cover-ups to inadequate investigations, from unsafe working conditions to societal attitudes that blame victims, the case highlights the complex nature of the problem. However, the widespread protests and public outrage in response to Dr. D's murder also demonstrate a growing awareness and intolerance for gender-based violence. This momentum must be harnessed to drive meaningful change at all levels of society. By challenging misogynistic mindsets, implementing robust safety measures, enforcing laws, and empowering women economically and politically, India can work towards a future where all women can live and work without fear. The memory of Dr. D and countless other victims of gender-based violence demands nothing less than a complete transformation of how society values and protects its women. The path forward is clear, though challenging. It requires unwavering commitment, sustained effort, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about societal attitudes and structures. Only through such dedicated effort can India hope to create a society where women are truly safe, respected, and empowered. Hey, thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on this tragic case? What can we do to create a safer world for each other? Leave a comment, and before you go, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you soon.